So recently, YouTube has recommended me a lot of videos along the line of watch this if you are ambitious but lazy, or you want everything but do nothing. And looking at how popular this topic is, it makes me feel very seen because it's something I really relate to as someone who's more of a planner than a doer. So planners and doers are just my way of calling these two types of people. The more accurate psychological terms would be state-oriented and action-oriented people. State-oriented people like me, when we have a new goal, we often spend a lot of time in the preparing and planning phase because we tend to be perfectionists. We like to analyze and optimize. So there is this need of doing a proper research and coming up with a good action plan before starting doing anything. Meanwhile, action oriented people, their standard for feeling ready is lower, so they can act faster on their intention, and they are also more comfortable with just figuring things out as they go. So my perceptions towards doers have changed a lot throughout the years. I used to wonder how they could be so spontaneous and we can say kind of careless, according to my standard. Sometimes I felt like the work they deliver could have been better if they have spent more time planning before acting, or that the mistakes that they made would have been avoidable to me because I would have thought about that beforehand. But now I realize that what I thought was their weakness was actually their strength. And the successful people around me are all more of doers to some degrees. Now, I really value a bias towards action to the point that if someone asks me what I think is the key indicator of success, I would say that if we are talking strictly about personality traits and not some external factors like your family background or your financial situation, then it would be the ease with which you can turn your intention into action. And I have spent a lot of effort in improving myself in that regard. During that process, I have learned some valuable lessons that I would love to share with people who find themselves in the same situation and would love to improve in the same direction. The first thing that really helps me was to change my perceptions towards failures. It's not hard to see that people with a high resistance to action also have a harder time dealing with uncertainty and fear of failures. Because of our tendency to overthink and ruminate, we often get hit harder by the idea of failures and take a longer time to recover from mistakes. So in order to look at mistakes in a less serious way, what helps me is to reflect on my past mistakes and remind myself that firstly, mistakes are inevitable. No matter how much time and effort I spend in planning and future proofing, I'm still gonna make mistakes one way or another. And secondly, life is more recoverable than it seems. Many mistakes feel like such a big deal when they happen, but very, very few ones actually can have any long-term impact in your life. It's often the thoughts and feelings that come with the mistakes that are scarier than the impact of the mistakes itself. So a philosophy that I now live by is that consistent action always outperforms excessive optimization. And we can really see it if we take a close look at people's path to success. No one has ever had any kind of long-term success because they are too smart that their whole journey is just a straight way. Most people kind of just stumble their ways to success. What I mean by that is that they actually fail a lot, but their strength lies in their ability to not dwell on failures for too long, but stand up fast and keep moving. That way, they get many rounds of practice, and the valuable experience that they gain from them often outweigh the possible damage caused by their mistakes. So now, when I face a new project or goal, I would focus on delivering the result faster rather than delivering the best work possible. And I choose to see it as a strategic choice, a price that I'm willing to pay because I know that it will lead to a greater good in the long run. The second advice I want to give to other planners is that the most valuable planning we can make happens not before but after the execution. I think to us state-oriented people, our strength lies in our ability to plan and reflect, so we don't need to abandon them in order to become more action-oriented. We just need to know the right timing to do them. I want to mention a book that I read last year, which has changed my view on life in a very fundamental way. That book is called Tiny Experiments by Anne Leconte. Basically, the key message of the book is that instead of looking at life as a linear process towards a destination, it proposes a new way of looking at life as if we are conducting a series of experiments. And for experiments, we would start with a question or a hypothesis, right? We can have expectations of how the results should be, but we can't force the result to be a certain way. And only after conducting the experiment would we have the data to analyze, to draw conclusion from, and decide what is the next step. When you think about it, life is really like a string of experiments in the way that the most valuable knowledge and understandings can only come after contacting with reality, because thinking alone can only get us so far. No matter how hard we try to prepare beforehand, the moment we start doing something, the reality will undo a lot of our assumptions and reveal a lot of insights that we never could have figured out beforehand. Many imaginary problems that I tried to resolve before even starting either never came or took a shape that I didn't think it would, or the clear solution turned out to be something that I never thought about before. So embrace your failures. Just the fact that you have failed is an achievement itself, because it means that you have tried and now you have this experience that underneath it are a lot of discoveries to be made, a lot of lessons to learn from that would not have been here if you haven't even started yet. Another mindset that helps me is to improve through iteration. Don't aim to launch something big or to meet some high standards right from the beginning. Just take the first step by putting out some simple version using your current toolkits and skills. And if you still lack in some skills, just learn along the way. The key is don't wait until you feel fully ready. Just start. And don't expect success. It's gonna suck. It's a part of the process. But you will learn lessons. As Reid Hoffman said, if you don't feel embraced by the first version of your product, you have launched too late. And the next time you will do it a little bit better, even for just 1%. The improvement may seem too small and insignificant, but it's still something. And that's how you will improve by time as you move through the feedback cycles. This model of improvement through repeated cycles and in smaller portions at a time is used a lot in software development and product design. I'm also trying a similar approach with my YouTube channel. When I decided to open my channel, I just had a generic idea of which kind of topics I would want to talk about. And until now, I still haven't decided which kind of video format or aesthetic I would want for my channel. I'm still just experimenting around with different ideas to see what sticks and to see what brings me the most joy. I find this approach work really well with my state-oriented mind because it helps reduce the feeling of threat attached to every try, and it provides fast, tangible results that create momentum and motivation. So I think this video is long enough, and to conclude it, I hope that anyone who has the patience to watch it until now will walk away with three key messages. Firstly, the ability to take action is the main ingredient of success. You should lean towards it and avoid spending too much time in the preparation phase. The damage from the potential mistakes are outweighed by the benefit that you will get from being action-oriented. Secondly, look at life from an experimental mindset. Know that the real learning process happens not before, but after you have conducted the experiments and collected data. And thirdly, work in iteration. Start small, get feedbacks, learn and improve, then repeat. So I hope you enjoyed this video and find something useful in it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.